we chatted with 2 through 6. But why don't we go ahead and give one more round of applause for our 2021 BassMaster Classic champion, Mr. Hank Cherry, huh? And Hank did something amazing. There's only been 3 other anglers in the history of our sport that have won back-to-back classics. So you got named Rick Lund, you got Kevin Van Dam, you got Jordan Lee, and now you have Hank Cherry. That is not a bad group of names to be associated with, Hank. Congratulations on that. So let's go ahead and get it started. I know there's probably a lot of questions. Who wants to fire off the first one?
What were your primary baits and your primary patterns over the 3 days?
Yep.
Did that change?
Primary baits and patterns over the 3 days, and did they change?
Basically didn't change. I picked one section of the lake. I made sure that it was the most navigable so that I wouldn't hit any trees. I picked a few willow points, a few rows of bushes, and then just kind of throughout practice mark things that looked the same. I thought I'd really found a few things that other guys hadn't, but when you have such an extended practice period, you're not going to see everybody because guys just kind of wander off, and there's only 50 of us in a 100-foot field. Typically, we'd see everybody. I really thought all my fish were going to come from around those shallow green bushes. I got on that one special point that ended up providing me a lot of fish. And I don't know, it's a habit I have, but it's just directly and straight in front of the takeoff. What was special about that, you just run out in the bar, and usually that's all out of the water. It's usually dry land. But the key to it, and Robbie can contest or being with me, it had constant flow anytime the wind blew. It would have current coming through the trees. The shad would gravitate there, white bass would get in there, and there was some big largemouth in there. I think that was starting to go away with the temperature. The shad was starting to spawn in the further upper arm where the creeks were coming in with a little cooler water. I flipped a variety of baits. The mainstay was a pit boss. It was influential. They called me the big one at the end of the day. I think it was the first day. They caught several key fish throughout the week. And a Picasso straight shooter jig. That day came in handy big time, especially yesterday morning. First 2 fish came off it real fast. And then, it's hard to believe that a little less than half of my fish actually came off the new jerkbait, which typically wouldn't be a pattern this late in the season in Texas, but with the cold and the way it froze here in the freezing temperatures, a lot of the fish, even today, some of the ones you caught were still pre-spawn fish. They hadn't moved. And I think this bass typically will not pull up and spawn until the water level is where they want it to be. And I think they know if they go way in there and spawn, the water comes down, their eggs are going to go bad. So there are all kinds of factors, a lot of baits. And I threw a bladed jig, several types, a shock blade, a jackhammer, and just another off-brand that they sell back home. Just because they all 3 have a different slight type of vibration. Caught a couple of key fish on that throughout the week. But basically, I ran those patterns, tried to keep my boat about 5 foot of water on the outside of the trees, outside the bushes. Today I actually had to go inside the hard line because the water had come up again, and I caught a few key fish back behind the main line. The dam was where I threw the jerkbait. It's just a straight rock wall. There are a couple places that have some irregularities to them that I would throw over them when I got close to them and knew how to catch them. That's basically what I did, and I alternated the same probably 8 spots all 3 days. And I didn't catch a bunch of fish at either one of them, but I caught enough to win.
All right, next question. Yes, sir.
Thanks. You spoke on meeting day, right? So I was one of the first guys to talk to you, and you had an overwhelming amount of confidence. It wasn't a cockiness, but it was a confidence coming into this class. And you didn't feel like you had anything to prove, but you just felt like you had figured it out. Can you elaborate on that confidence and just why did you feel so confident coming in this class?
Well, first day I caught my personal best, which made me pretty excited at 10:13. And I kind of just liked what was going on. I know some of the other guys had complained about fishing tough, shad spawn, no fish in them. And then I spoke with Brock, and he had gotten bites, and we kind of got bites doing kind of similar stuff, just at different sections of the lake. But I knew having the ace in the hole on the dam that I wasn't going to have to catch as many out of the bushes. Now, I wasn't counting on it to be 197 degrees a day and no wind, because that was terrible. But anytime I can have that bait tied on and know that I can fish effectively and catch some fish, my excitement level goes up. And it wasn't just the fish I was catching, it was the size. I showed you some pictures. I mean, it was the size. Everything just seemed right. When I took Robbie out on the official practice day, we kind of teased around there, and I caught a big one from him, and he jumped, and he looked at me, and he said, "This is stupid." And I just knew that, but it got tougher. I mean, these guys found some things that I didn't think they would find because they just didn't look very fishy. They ended up finding them. So throughout the process, a lot of them became dead water. But I was really the only one that had the dam. And so, you know, it got me a key one the first day, 4 yesterday, and it got me a good one today. I mean, so anytime that I know that I got a little something different than what everybody else is throwing, I'm pretty excited about it.
Yes, Dan.
Hank, you're kind of now of this new breed and the new Elite Series. You're kind of the spokesperson. You've had the most exposure. You've won the 2 biggest events since this field is started. What responsibility do you feel for this industry, for your sponsors, and for the rest of the field to carry that mantle and still maintain the humility that you do?
You know, I take on challenges head on. I had to do it my whole life. You know, I was a college athlete going through high school. I try to set the best example I can for my son. He's trying to follow those footsteps. And, you know, it's just, I'm going to do what's asked of me. If you ask me a question, I'm always going to give you my honest opinion, whether you like it or not. I'm not saying it to be, you know, I'm not that guy. I'll let you know how I feel. It's not personal. A lot of this is business. A lot of it's turned personal because I've met so many great people in this industry. But I'm very passionate about kids, the youth, and fishing. That's part of Woods to Water, things that we have coming. And if I can be an inspiration to just one person, it starts with one and goes to 2. That's what I'm going to do. My time is kind of limited with 2 kids to what I can do and where I can go, but any chance that I have to go represent the Shield and my sponsors, I'm going to be more than willing and proud to do it.
Yes, sir.
As
I like the jacket, by the way.
There's a story behind this, of course. As a Charter Life member of Bass, I paid Ray Scott $50 in 1968 for a life membership. Don Butler beat me, he was first. But I've seen what's happened. Bass fishing, you're the epitome right now. What do you see in the future? Where are we going? Because, you know, this pandemic, it was bad on everyone else, but not us. Fishing's never been better. I mean, the high schools, the colleges. Where is it going?
You know, I think the possibilities are endless, especially with the materials that are available today just for the novice angler just trying to learn, not to mention the high school kids, the junior high kids, the middle school kids, you know, and there's even camps now for preschool kids. I mean, you know, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, everybody wanting to get into fishing. You know, you don't have to get into fishing and love fishing and be a competitive angler. Fishing is just something, once you do it, it gets in your blood. It's just something about feeling it tug. But the bass fishing's future is as bright as it's ever been. The new crop that's coming up, very talented, very educated, very big on the social media game, which is, you know, kind of part of it. I'm not a huge lover of the social media, but it has to be. It's a necessity these days. That's how you meet and contact a lot of people. I'm still like the old person when they pick up the phone, hey, how you doing? My wife is a texter like she's doing right now. You see her? I'm not much of a texter. I still like the one-on-one contact, and that's why when we were going around out there, I had all those kids wanting to shake your hand. I can't reach them from the boat, wanting autographs. So I just jump off and go do it because they are the future of this. They are the future fishermen. They are the future customers. They are the future BassMaster Classic champions. So it's got to start there and work our way up.
Guys, we're gonna have time for maybe one or two more questions, and then we got to get him to a champion's toast. So let's.
First and foremost, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. How did your boat, motor, electronics, and accessories help you to accomplish this great win?
Well, you see, this is my third Bass Cat. By far the best and easiest company that I've ever worked with as far as dealing with the boat. Rick, Kevin, they are top-notch, direct, you know where you stand, and they care. They care about your family, they care about you, they're always tracking you, keeping what's going on, and that's important to me. Mercury, my first year I was with in a Skeeter and Yamaha, and I had to switch because of the sponsor. Mercury didn't hesitate to take me on. I've been with them ever since. That's who I'll be with until I'm done fishing. I know when I hit that motor that I'm going to go where I need to go, I'm gonna get back. And if I have any issues that ever need to be worked on or whatever, they're always there to do it. Now we lost Scotty, he retired. He was my savior a couple times. One time because I had a nightmarish rigging job, and he took care of the whole thing in one day, replaced everything for me, and he's a special person to me, and I'll never forget him for that. My electronics, Garmin, it's like I've said 1,000 times, I believe what they're showing me. I may be confused in my head, but they don't lie to me. A rock is a rock, a fish is a fish, I can see in front of me. It hasn't failed me ever since I switched to them. I really believe in it, I preach it. It's really, and that's really catching on. That's part of the new technology that's just here, and it's out there for everybody to use. But I use and sponsored by, partnered with, have friends, it's the best equipment in the industry. I can't complain. My rods and reels, flawless, baits. I've got the best baits I believe in the market. I'm in love with this new jerk bait we came out with. We got it exactly the way I wanted it. It catches fish. And this time I think it's just going to be different. No pandemic, so I got a different year. Looking forward to the adventure ahead, however that's going to be, whatever that holds. But I'll say it again. I've never asked more from my sponsors than I thought I was worth. And I've always asked for enough and not for the whole shit, because I just believe that's the kind of person you need to be. And you work hard enough, you get what you deserve.
One last question.
You are in a very small fraternity. You now have a chance to be the only member of a new fraternity. Will you think about what is ahead next year at Hartwell over the next few weeks and months, or will you just put it behind you and just go fishing?
When I get home from here and I pair this one up with its twin, the next thing on my mind is going to be how am I going to catch my Lake Champlain. I can't control or worry about what's 6 months from now. I've got a job still to do for the rest of this year. It's especially important now that I keep the good deer up so I can bring another angler into the classic. And I'm just going to enjoy being the champion. That's the best I can say.
Fantastic. All right, guys, it's going to conclude our press conference. Hank is going to have to get his buttocks over there to have a celebratory toast. Some of y'all might want to take a couple photos of him with the trophy real